Hi guys, I'm sending you this as a reminder about what we checked in terms of suggestions and advice when traveling. That is just a quick reminder about how to give directions. Remember that we studied that last semester, and the key instructions that we have are go up or walk up, go down or walk down, turn right, turn left, or take a right, take a left. Right there you have the questions that we checked in class and we also checked last semester, right? How do you get to the Rockefeller Center, or how can I get to Bryant Park? And right there you have the different instructions. Remember that this is the information that you are giving to a tourist, so you have to be very clear about that. Little exercise for you guys, for you to practice. So take a starting point, for example, over here, the hotel, and from there you can practice going to some other places. Same story over here, you go from one place and explain how to get to another specific place. So let's see the vocabulary related to traveling. If you look at that, from page 68, you have the different items that we can get when we travel. It all depends on what type of travel you're going to have. For example, if it is a business trip, or if it is a trip because of pleasure. So you have a bag, a towel, a bathing suit, which is also called a swimming suit. You have sandals, especially if you are going for a trip at the beach. Then you have a brush, makeup, shampoo, sunscreen, toothpaste, toothbrush, hair dryer, soap, and a razor, and we all call that as personal care items. If you go camping, a tent and a sleeping bag, a first aid kit, and an insect repellent are going to be essential for that. And also, it's always important to take batteries and, well, some other elements. As I said before, it all depends on the kind of trip that you're going to have. Right there you have a little exercise where you have to indicate what you need, for example, to go on a camping trip, like a tent or a sleeping bag, and what you don't need to take because it's going to be a useless item. If you go on a business trip, for example, you need to take your computer with you and formal clothing, and you don't need to take probably sandals. If you're going to stay overnight with a friend, definitely pajamas and your personal care items. And you don't need probably a sleeping bag. Now, right here we have a conversation between Mother and Jenny, and Jenny's going on a trip. So right there, Mother is giving suggestions, advice, or recommendation about the different items that she should take. If you read the conversation, you're going to look at the expressions that we can use to make these advice and these recommendations, like take a flashlight, don't forget to pack some batteries, why don't you take my jacket, it's a good idea to have something warm, you need to take a hat, you could borrow your dad's hat, etc., etc. If you go into the book, once again, on page 69, you're going to see the grammar elements, and right there you have the expressions. Some questions that you can make, and you have the expressions. Like you should, you shouldn't, you could, you couldn't, you must, you mustn't, and right there you add directly the verb. Then you have you need to or you have to, and after that you use a verb. You also have expressions like why don't you, it's a good idea to, take, and don't forget to. And after the to, you use the verb. Over here we have a little exercise where you had to complete according to the situation, and those were different trips that we can make. The example is given, which is about backpacking in Australia, and you have, as I said, as an example, I think you should take a lot of sunscreen. it's a good idea to have a map. Maybe you should take 2 bathing suits. For a trip to Paris, for example, don't forget to visit the Eiffel Tower. Why don't you eat snails, for example? For a language course in Canada, you need to take your dictionary. It's a good idea to practice a lot with Canadians, etc., etc. Then over here we have different problems, and this is for you to understand that when we go with suggestions and recommendations, it's not just about trips. It can be about any situation. For example, I can't find my wallet, that is my problem, and a possible recommendation should be like you should call the police, for example. You have to look in your bag. For the next problem that says burglars broke into my house, that means that robbers, thieves are in my house. Possible solution could be you must call the police. You shouldn't talk to them or like shout to them. You have to get an alarm or a security system for your house. Right there you have another one. It says I was fired from my job, so that means that you're no longer with a job. So for example, recommendations could be like you need to prepare a new curriculum. Why don't you start looking for a new job? Take some time to think about what you want to do, for example. Okay, now look at the other problems that you have right there and think about the possible solutions that you can give. And of course, try to use different expressions. Hope you guys, you have no questions, and if you do so, don't hesitate to write to me. Okie dokie, take good care.